Imaging finding a rare coin so rare it could pay off your house today, we're diving into 10 of the most valuable US coins ever found. Real coins worth hundreds and even millions of dollars or more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next rare find. Let's start this.
We're diving deep into the United States of America 1985 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin most people ignore, but serious collectors watch closely. And if you're between 30 and 65, living in the United States, holding on to jars of old change, inherited coin boxes, or forgotten bank rolls, this message is for you. Because sometimes wealth doesn't arrive in a lottery ticket. Sometimes it hides in plain sight. The 1985 D Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint under the historic Lincoln cent series first introduced in 1909. This iconic design, featuring Abraham Lincoln, represents stability, legacy, and American resilience. By 1985, pennies were made primarily of copper-plated zinc, weighing about 2.5 grams. Billions were produced. And that's exactly why most people assume they're worthless. But here's the twist: when billions are made, errors are inevitable. And errors create opportunity. Imagine this. It's 1985. Machines are running at high speed in Denver. Dies strike blank planchets again and again. Pressure, metal flow, alignment. Now imagine just one slight malfunction. A misaligned die. A weak strike. A double impression. A planchet flaw. In that moment, something ordinary becomes rare. And rarity is the heartbeat of value in the coin market. So what kind of errors should you be searching for in a 1985 D penny? Let's build the excitement slowly. Double die errors where the date or lettering appears slightly duplicated. Off-center strikes where Lincoln's portrait drifts toward the rim. Broad strikes where the coin spreads beyond its collar. Clipped planchets where a curved section is missing. Even dramatic die cracks that form raised lines across the surface. These aren't damages. These are mint-made mistakes. And collectors, pay attention. Now pause for a second. When was the last time you actually looked closely at your pocket change? Be honest. Most people never do. They spend it, drop it in a jar, or roll it for the bank. But what if that jar contains a hidden error coin worth hundreds, or even thousands of dollars? In today's competitive auction environment, the coin market has evolved. Online auctions, grading services, professional certifications, and live bidding platforms have created a powerful marketplace. A high-grade 1985 D Lincoln cent with a strong, visible mint error can command impressive premiums. Condition matters. Mint state examples graded by major services like PCGS or NGC often bring the strongest results. Sharp red luster. No circulation wear. Clean surfaces. Combine that with a dramatic error and you have a coin that stands out in auction catalogs, and here's where urgency enters the story. Error coins don't wait. The market rewards visibility and timing. If you discover a genuine double die or off-center 1985 D penny in high grade, acting quickly and intelligently matters. Coins certified and marketed professionally often attract serious bidders who understand scarcity. Now let's talk directly to you. Are you holding on to an inherited coin collection? Are you wondering how to sell old rare coins? How to sell coins safely? How to make money from coins instead of letting them sit idle? Could your pocket change really turn into something bigger? From pocket change to millions sounds dramatic, but every major collection started with one discovery: selling old and rare coins in the USA today is easier than ever when you approach it wisely. First, examine and separate potential error coins. Second, consider professional grading for authentication and condition assessment. Third, research current auction results for comparable 1985 D mint error pennies. Fourth, choose reputable auction houses or established coin dealers. Transparency and documentation increase buyer confidence. Confidence increases bids. Bids increase final sale value, and let's inject a quick pattern interrupt here. If you've ever spent more time choosing a breakfast cereal than inspecting a coin that could be worth serious money, it might be time to rethink priorities. Wealth favors attention. Back to the story. Picture this scenario. A collector lists a certified 1985 D off-center strike graded mint state red. Bidders compete. The countdown ticks. Excitement builds. Final seconds. The hammer falls. The coin sells for a maximum dollar figure reflecting strong market demand for dramatic, eye-catching mint errors. That is not fantasy. That is how auctions work when rarity meets presentation, but here's the emotional trigger most people ignore: fear of missing out. How many valuable coins have passed through your hands without inspection? How many times have you said, "It's just a penny"? The truth is, knowledge separates spenders from sellers. Sellers who understand the coin market position themselves strategically. The 1985 D penny may not be rare in standard circulated form. But rare is not about mintage alone. Rare is about condition and error combination. A blazing red mint state example with a bold double die or a dramatic strike error creates collector demand. Demand fuels price strength. And when demand rises, so does confidence in the marketplace. Now connect this to your broader goal. You're not just looking to sell coins. You're looking to elevate your financial position. You're looking for opportunities hidden in everyday life. Coins are tangible assets. They are portable. They are historical. They are collected globally. And unlike many speculative trends, numismatics has centuries of tradition behind it. So how do you start today? Take out your change jar. Separate every 1985 penny. Look for the D mint mark beneath the date. Use magnification. Study the lettering. Examine the rim. Weigh the coin if possible. Look for anything unusual. If you find something strikingly different, do not clean it. Cleaning reduces value dramatically. Preserve originality. That's what collectors pay for. Then ask yourself powerful questions. How to sell old and rare coins in USA and get true auction value? Should you approach a local coin shop or a national auction house? What are recent realized prices? How do grading fees compare to potential premiums? These are strategic questions, not casual ones. Approach your coins like assets, not spare change, and here's the inspiration. Every major collector remembers the first coin that changed their mindset. Maybe your 1985 D error penny becomes that coin for you. Maybe it sparks deeper exploration into other dates, other mint marks, other errors. Maybe it opens a door to a side income stream. Or perhaps it simply gives you the satisfaction of discovering hidden value where others saw nothing. Let's bring the three acts together. In the beginning, we saw an ordinary penny. In the middle, we uncovered the world of mint errors and auction demand. And now, at the end, we arrive at opportunity. The opportunity is not guaranteed wealth overnight. The opportunity is awareness, action, and intelligent selling. So before you dismiss another copper-plated coin, pause. Ask yourself, could this be the one? Could this 1985 D Lincoln cent be carrying an error that collectors desire? Could this be your first step from pocket change to meaningful profit? Imagine reaching into an old jar of pocket change, the same jar that has been sitting quietly on a shelf for decades, and pulling out a single copper coin that could quietly be worth thousands of dollars. Not a lottery ticket. Not a risky investment. Just a humble penny. Today, we're talking about the 1962 D mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny from the United States of America, struck at the legendary United States Mint facility in Denver. And what if I told you that certain error versions of this small copper coin are commanding maximum dollar levels in today's red-hot collector market? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you may never look at your pocket change the same way again. This is not just about a coin. This is about possibility. It's about hidden value. It's about how everyday Americans between 30 and 65 years old, people just like you, are discovering that old coins tucked away in drawers, inherited collections, and forgotten piggy banks are turning into serious money. The 1962 D Lincoln penny is one of those coins that quietly sits in circulation, yet in the right condition, with the right error, it can explode in value. Let's begin with the story. The year was 1962. America was in the middle of transformation, space race tension, economic growth, and cultural change. The Lincoln cent had already become an American icon, first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln. By 1962, millions of pennies were struck in Denver, each bearing the small but powerful D mint mark beneath the date. Most of these coins entered circulation and lived ordinary lives. But some did not, and here is where excitement begins. Within certain 1962 D pennies, rare mint errors occurred. We're talking about off-center strikes that shifted the design dramatically. We're talking about die cracks that create lightning-like lines across Lincoln's portrait. We're talking about double die features where letters appear slightly duplicated, creating a subtle but valuable visual effect. We're talking about wrong planchet strikes and dramatic misalignments that make collectors lean forward in their chairs. Now pause for a second. When was the last time you really examined a penny? Be honest. Did you glance at the date? Did you look for the tiny D? Or did you just toss it aside? That moment right there, that casual disregard, could be costing you thousands. The coin market today is driven by demand, condition, and rarity. And right now, high-grade 1962 D Lincoln cents with strong red luster and authenticated mint errors are in extremely high demand. Serious collectors and investors are actively searching auction platforms and coin shows for premium examples. Why? Because supply is limited, and as more people discover coin collecting as an alternative asset class, competition intensifies. Let's talk about condition, because this is where urgency enters the room. A 1962 D penny in circulated condition may only be worth face value. But an uncirculated example graded at the top of the scale, especially with a dramatic mint error, can reach astonishing maximum dollar amounts in today's market. We are seeing record-setting auction behavior for pristine red specimens with certified error status. Professional grading services authenticate and encapsulate these coins, instantly elevating trust and marketability. Here's a question for you. Are you sitting on an old coffee can filled with pennies from the 1960s? Did a parent or grandparent leave behind a small coin collection? Have you ever wondered how to sell old rare coins in the USA and what their true auction shop value might be? Because here's the truth, the difference between selling a coin for 1 cent and selling it for thousands often comes down to knowledge, and knowledge is power. Many viewers ask, how to sell old rare coins? How to start selling coins safely? How to make money from coins? The answer begins with identification. Examine the date. Confirm the mint mark. Look closely for errors. Use magnification. Compare with verified examples. Then consider professional grading. Authentication transforms a simple copper coin into a documented collectible asset, but let's interrupt the intensity for just a second. Imagine telling your spouse, "Honey, remember that penny you almost threw away? It just paid for our vacation." Sounds unbelievable. Maybe. Impossible? Not at all. The emotional trigger here is simple. Fear of missing out. Fear of overlooking hidden wealth. And on the other side, excitement. The thrill of discovery. The empowerment of realizing that wealth does not always come from complex investments. Sometimes it comes from attention to detail. Now let's connect this to the broader opportunity, from pocket changes to millions. That phrase is not fantasy. The coin market has produced extraordinary success stories. Individuals who started by searching rolls of pennies eventually built collections worth 6 and 7 figures. Why? Because they understood rarity. They understood demand cycles. They understood presentation and timing when selling at auction. That if you're wondering how to sell old and rare coins in USA and its value in auction shop settings, here is the strategic path. First, evaluate condition honestly. Second, verify authenticity and errors through reputable grading companies. Third, research recent auction results for comparable certified examples. Fourth, choose the right selling venue, major auction houses, specialized coin dealers, or well-established online marketplaces with strong buyer pools, and here's something crucial: timing matters. When demand surges for error coins from the early 1960s, prices escalate. When collectors compete aggressively, maximum dollar outcomes become possible. Right now, error-focused collectors are especially attentive to dramatic visual pieces, coins that tell a story at first glance. The 1962 D Lincoln penny with a bold off-center strike or strong doubled features does exactly that. It tells a story of imperfection turned into desirability. It represents a moment inside the mint where machinery alignment created rarity instead of routine. And rarity is the engine of value, but let me ask you something deeper. What would it mean for you to uncover a coin worth thousands? Would it reduce debt? Fund retirement? Create breathing room? Or simply validate that you were wise enough to look where others did not? This is about more than metal. It's about awareness. Your generation, those between 30 and 65, holds a unique advantage. You may have access to inherited coins from parents who saved change in the 1960s. You may have collections started decades ago before the internet made price transparency common. That means opportunity could already be in your possession. The key is action. Don't let old coins gather dust. Don't assume they are worthless. Don't delay examination. Because markets evolve, and attention brings reward. The maximum dollar potential of a 1962 D mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny with significant mint error is not a myth. It is driven by real collector demand and competitive bidding behavior, and as we reach the final act of this story, everything connects. The humble penny struck in Denver in 1962. The overlooked jar of change. The rising demand in modern auctions. The desire to sell old rare coins wisely. The dream of transforming small beginnings into substantial wealth. They are all threads in the same fabric. Here is your call to action. Tonight, open that drawer. Pour out those pennies. Look for 1962. Look for the D. Examine for unusual characteristics: doubling, misalignment, cracks, off-center strikes. Ask yourself, could this be the one? Could this be the coin that changes my financial momentum? Because from pocket changes to millions is not just a catchy phrase. It is a mindset shift. It is the decision to treat small things seriously. It is the willingness to learn how to sell old rare coins strategically, how to approach auction shops confidently, and how to position your assets for maximum dollar outcomes. Imagine reaching into a dusty jar of loose change, the same jar that has been sitting on your kitchen shelf for decades, and pulling out a single copper coin that could change your financial future. Not a lottery ticket. Not a risky stock. Just a simple 1967 Lincoln 1-cent penny. What if I told you that one ordinary-looking coin, struck in 1967 with no mint mark, could be worth thousands of dollars in today's red-hot coin market? And what if that coin is hiding in your pocket change right now? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will look at every 1967 Lincoln cent differently. You will know what to search for, how to recognize rare errors, how to sell old and rare coins in the USA, and how everyday Americans are turning pocket change into serious money. In 1967, the United States was in the middle of economic and social transformation. The coin shortage of the mid-1960s had forced the government to remove mint marks from coins to discourage collectors from hoarding them. That means the 1967 Lincoln cent was struck without a mint mark, regardless of where it was made. On the front of the coin, you see the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the back, the iconic Lincoln Memorial appears, representing strength and unity in American history. Now here is where things become interesting. Because of the massive production in 1967, most of these pennies are common. They are everywhere. They were minted in the hundreds of millions. And that is exactly why collectors overlook them. But hidden within those millions are rare error coins that have shocked the auction world. Think about this. During high-speed production, mistakes happen. And in the coin world, mistakes equal money. Some 1967 Lincoln cents were struck with doubled dies, where the lettering appears doubled due to misalignment in the die creation process. Others were struck off-center, showing part of the design missing. Some have dramatic die cracks or cuts, where chunks of the die broke off and left raised blobs of metal on the coin. And then there are rare cases of wrong planchet strikes, where a penny was struck on a blank meant for another denomination. That if you find a strong double die 1967 Lincoln cent in high mint condition, you could be looking at hundreds or even thousands of dollars in value. In today's market, the highest graded and most dramatic error examples have reached maximum dollar levels that surprise even experienced collectors. The current market value for a top-condition major error 1967 Lincoln penny can climb into the thousands depending on rarity and grading. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you checked your change carefully? Not quickly. Not casually. Carefully, most people glance and toss their pennies aside. But serious collectors examine every detail. They tilt the coin under light. They use magnification. They compare the letters in Liberty and In God We Trust for doubling. They inspect the date 1967 for unusual thickness or shadows in the numbers. They check the edges for off-center strikes, and here is the emotional truth. The fear is not that these coins do not exist. The fear is that someone else will find yours first. Imagine selling your house and discovering years later that a 1967 error penny had been sitting in a jar you gave away. Imagine learning that a coin you once spent on coffee was later auctioned for thousands. That regret is real. And it happens, but here is the exciting part. The opportunity is still alive. The 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent is in high demand among error collectors because it represents a unique year in American coinage history. No mint marks. Massive production. And hidden treasures within the chaos of speed and pressure at the mint. Now you might be asking, how to sell old rare coins? How to make money from coins? How to turn pocket change into serious wealth? First, understand this: condition is everything. A 1967 penny in circulated condition may only be worth face value unless it has a major error. But an uncirculated example with a bold error, especially graded by a reputable service, becomes a completely different story. Professional grading companies authenticate and grade coins on a scale that determines market value. A high-grade error coin certified and protected in a holder instantly gains credibility in auctions and coin shops. So how to sell old and rare coins in the USA and get maximum value in auction shops. You start by identifying the coin accurately. Do not clean it. Never polish it. Cleaning destroys value instantly. Then research comparable auction sales. Look at recent realized prices. Contact established coin dealers. Attend coin shows. Or consider major auction houses that specialize in rare US coins. Let me interrupt you with a quick question. Have you ever wondered why some people quietly build wealth while others overlook opportunity? Sometimes the difference is knowledge. Sometimes it is simply paying attention to details others ignore. The 1967 Lincoln cent teaches a powerful lesson. Wealth is not always shiny and obvious. Sometimes it looks ordinary, and here is where our story shifts. Act 1 was awareness. Now we move to decision. You are between 30 and 65 years old. You have lived through decades of change. You may have inherited coins from parents or grandparents. You may have jars in closets, old piggy banks, forgotten collections in drawers. This is not just metal. This is potential. Ask yourself directly. How to sell coins the right way. How to avoid being underpaid. How to recognize when a coin is truly special. The answer begins with education and patience. Study the characteristics of major 1967 errors. Learn what strong doubling looks like compared to minor machine doubling. Understand what a true off-center strike is versus a coin that was damaged after leaving the mint. Knowledge separates profit from loss, and urgency matters. The coin market moves in cycles. Demand for error coins has been strong, especially as more Americans search for alternative investments. Online auctions make it easier than ever to reach nationwide buyers. But markets can shift. The time to examine your coins is now, not someday. Imagine the excitement of discovering that one 1967 penny in your collection has a dramatic off-center strike with full visible date. Imagine sending it for grading and receiving confirmation that it is authentic and rare. Imagine listing it in a competitive auction and watching bidders fight for ownership. That moment is real for someone every year. Why not you? From pocket change to millions may sound dramatic. But every major coin discovery started with someone paying attention. Every auction record started with one coin pulled from circulation, and here is the final connection: the 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny represents more than copper. It represents overlooked opportunity. It represents the idea that wealth can hide in plain sight. It represents action versus hesitation. So tonight, open that jar. Open that drawer. Look at every 1967 Lincoln cent carefully. Use a magnifier. Check for doubling. Check for off-center strikes. Check for unusual weight or color. What if that small copper coin you once ignored could be the turning point between ordinary living and financial breakthrough? Today, we are diving into one of the most talked about treasures in American pocket change history, the 1970 D-Mint Mark Lincoln cent struck at the Denver Mint. And if you stay with me until the end, you will understand why this tiny 1-cent coin has captured the attention of collectors across the United States and why the maximum market value today can reach astonishing levels. Picture this. It's 1970. America is changing. The economy is shifting. Families are building futures. And millions of pennies are rolling off the presses in Denver. Most of them enter circulation quietly. They buy newspapers, candy bars, gallons of gasoline. They jingle in pockets and disappear into couch cushions. But among those millions, a small number were struck with extraordinary minting errors, errors that transformed ordinary coins into rare collectibles with serious market demand. Now pause for a second. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny before spending it? Be honest. Most of us don't. And that is exactly why opportunity hides in plain sight. The 1970 D. Lincoln cent carries the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, first introduced in 1909 to honor his 100th birthday. On the reverse in 1970, you see the classic wheatless memorial design. But what separates a regular 1970 D penny from one worth big money is not what casual eyes notice, it is what trained collectors search for with magnification and precision. One of the most powerful value drivers in this coin is the double die obverse effect. When the die used to strike the coin is misaligned during creation, the result is visible doubling in the date or lettering. On certain 1970 issues, the doubling is dramatic enough to create intense collector competition. And when collectors compete, prices rise. That is the rule of the auction world. Let me ask you something important. Have you ever wondered how to sell old rare coins in the USA and its value in auction shops? Have you ever asked yourself, how do I make money from coins that I already own? Could the answer literally be inside your spare change jar? Here is where excitement meets urgency. The market for rare error coins has strengthened significantly over the years. Serious buyers, investors, dealers, and passionate numismatists actively search for high-grade 1970 D. Lincoln cents with confirmed errors. Condition plays a powerful role. Coins graded in mint state condition by respected grading services command dramatically higher prices than circulated examples. A small detail in preservation can mean the difference between a few dollars and life-changing money, and here is a humorous truth. Some people spend more time choosing a streaming show than checking a coin that could be worth thousands. Imagine binge-watching episodes while a rare penny sits unnoticed in your coin jar. That's almost painful, right? But this is not about regret. This is about action. Act 1 is awareness. You now know that the 1970 D. Lincoln cent is not just another penny. It is a potential asset. It is a piece of American minting history. It is a coin that, under the right conditions, can bring powerful returns in today's market. Act 2 is discovery and decision. This is where fear and opportunity collide. The fear is simple. What if you overlook something valuable? What if you unknowingly spend a coin that collectors would compete for? The excitement is even greater. What if you discover one? What if tonight you examine your coins under a magnifying glass and find doubling on the date or lettering? What if that small copper disc becomes your unexpected financial catalyst? You might be wondering right now, how to sell old and rare coins. How does the process really work? Do I walk into a coin shop? Do I list it online? Do I send it to auction? The answer depends on the coin's authenticity, grade, and demand. Serious sellers begin with verification. A reputable grading service authenticates and grades the coin. This certification increases trust and dramatically improves auction performance. Auction houses with national reputations often attract competitive bidding, pushing values upward when demand is strong. The phrase "from pocket change to millions" sounds dramatic. But here is the reality: wealth often begins with recognizing value where others see none. The coin market rewards knowledge, patience, and decisive action. Those who educate themselves stand ahead of those who ignore opportunity. The current maximum market value for an exceptional 1970 Lincoln cent error in superb condition can reach tens of thousands of dollars in competitive auctions. And in the most extraordinary cases, examples have approached $49,742. That is not spare change. That is a down payment. That is investment capital. That is financial leverage. Let that number sink in. Now imagine the emotional shift. Yesterday it was just a penny. Today it could be a strategic asset. This is why experienced collectors carefully inspect mint marks, study strike quality, and understand grading scales. They do not guess. They verify. Let me reset your attention with a quick question. If you found one tomorrow worth that level of money, what would you do first? Pay off debt? Invest? Upgrade your lifestyle? Or reinvest into more rare coins and build a portfolio that grows over time? Act 3 is transformation. This is where knowledge becomes wealth. Once you identify a valuable coin, you position it correctly in the market. You choose strong platforms. You understand timing. You create demand by presenting certification, high-quality images, and accurate descriptions. And when competitive buyers recognize rarity, bidding energy builds. The United States coin market remains one of the most active in the world. Collectors across the country search daily for high-grade error coins. The 1970 Lincoln cent holds a special place because it represents both accessibility and hidden rarity. Millions were minted, yet only a fraction carry the kind of error that drives premium pricing. This is why urgency matters. Coins continue to circulate. Collections change hands. Estate sales happen. Opportunities move quickly. The person who takes action first often captures the reward. So I ask you directly. Have you checked your 1970 pennies? Have you looked closely at the mint mark under the date? Have you examined the lettering for doubling? Have you considered that your next financial opportunity might already belong to you? Your journey from curiosity to confidence begins with one step: examination. From there, verification. Then strategic selling. How to sell old rare coins successfully is not a mystery. It is a process built on knowledge and positioning. And how to make money from coins is not luck. It is preparation meeting opportunity. What if the spare change sitting on your kitchen counter held the key to a serious payday? Today we're diving deep into the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent coin, a piece of everyday American history that could carry surprising value in today's market. And if you are between 30 and 65, sitting on years, maybe decades, of saved coins, this message is especially for you. The 1978 Lincoln cent is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, one of the most recognized coins in American history. First introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln, this coin has passed through billions of hands. By 1978, the design featured Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a symbol of strength and unity in the United States. Most 1978 pennies were struck in Philadelphia and, importantly, those from Philadelphia carried no mint mark at all. That's why we call it the no mint mark version. Now here's where excitement begins to build. In 1978, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of pennies. On the surface, that sounds like there is nothing rare about them. But let me ask you something: is every car from the same year worth the same price today? Of course not. Condition, rarity, and special features change everything. The same is true for coins. Within that massive production run, certain 1978 no-mint mark pennies were struck with mint errors or preserved in extraordinary condition. Those are the coins that serious collectors are hunting right now. Picture this. You are sorting through an old jar of pennies. You find a bright, sharp-looking 1978 cent with no mint mark. You look closer. The lettering appears doubled. The date seems slightly thick. Or perhaps the coin looks unusually crisp, with blazing red luster as if it was struck yesterday. Suddenly, what was once ordinary feels different. That feeling, that spark of possibility, is where opportunity lives. Mint errors are the hidden treasures of the coin world. In 1978, some no-mint mark Lincoln cents were struck with double dies, off-center strikes, or die cracks. A double die error can make the date or lettering appear duplicated. An off-center strike can leave part of the design missing, creating a dramatic and highly collectible look. These errors were not intentional. They slipped through quality control and entered circulation. That's what makes them so desirable today. Let me interrupt for a second with a simple question. When was the last time you actually looked closely at a penny before spending it? Be honest. Most of us never do. And that is exactly why valuable coins continue to circulate unnoticed. Opportunity hides in plain sight. The market for high-grade 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln cents is strong, especially for coins graded mint state 66, 67, or higher by professional grading services. In pristine red condition, these coins can command impressive premiums compared to their face value. Add a verified error into the mix, and the price can climb dramatically. Collectors want sharp details, full red color, and strong eye appeal. Auction houses and online marketplaces consistently show that top condition examples attract competitive bidding. So what is the current market value? For an average circulated 1978 no-mint mark penny, the value remains close to 1 cent. But here is where the story shifts. In uncirculated condition with full red luster, values can range from tens to hundreds of dollars. And rare, high-grade or dramatic error examples have reached even higher levels at auction. The maximum dollar potential is found in the finest known specimens and significant error coins, where serious collectors are willing to pay substantial sums to secure the best. This brings us to something deeper than just numbers. It brings us to possibility. How many coins have passed through your hands over the years? How many coffee cans, piggy banks, and inherited collections are sitting in closets across America right now? And how many people are unknowingly holding coins that could change their financial situation? Let's talk directly about what many of you are thinking. How to sell old rare coins. How to sell coins the right way in the USA. How to make money from coins without being taken advantage of. These are powerful questions, and they deserve clear answers. First, knowledge is power. Before selling any 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, you must evaluate its condition and check for errors. Use magnification. Compare it to verified examples. If you suspect high grade or a valuable error, consider professional grading. Third-party grading adds credibility and can significantly increase buyer confidence. Second, choose your selling platform wisely. Should you sell at a local coin shop? At a major auction house? Online? Each option has advantages. Local shops provide quick liquidity. Auction houses can attract competitive bidding for top-quality coins. Online platforms offer broad exposure. The key is matching the quality of your coin with the right marketplace. Here's a moment of urgency. The coin market moves in cycles. Demand rises as new collectors enter the hobby and as precious metal prices fluctuate. Waiting too long without proper storage can also reduce value. Coins exposed to moisture or mishandling can lose their premium. Action protects opportunity. Now let's zoom out. Why does this matter so much to your generation? Because you understand value. You have worked hard. You have saved. You know that small decisions compound over time. Coins are no different. A penny saved, examined, and preserved can multiply in worth under the right circumstances. Imagine turning pocket change into a meaningful financial boost. From pocket changes to millions sounds dramatic, doesn't it? Yet history has shown that rare coins have funded retirements, paid off mortgages, and created generational wealth. While not every 1978 penny will make you rich, the discipline of checking, learning, and acting strategically can open doors. Let me ask you something powerful. What if the next coin you examine is the one collectors are searching for? What if the next roll of pennies you open contains a blazing red 1978 no mint mark in near perfect condition? Would you recognize it? Would you seize the moment? This is where fear and excitement meet. The fear of missing out on hidden value. The excitement of discovering it first. The urgency of acting before someone else does. As we close, connect the dots. The 1978 no mint mark Lincoln cent represents more than copper and zinc. It represents overlooked potential. It represents the idea that wealth can begin with attention. You do not need to be a millionaire to start. You need curiosity, patience, and the willingness to look closer. So tonight, instead of scrolling past another video, open that jar of pennies. Lay them out on the table. Look for 1978. Look for no mint mark. Look for sharp detail, bright red color, unusual doubling, or striking errors. Ask yourself again, how to sell old and rare coins in USA and its value in auction shop. Imagine reaching into a dusty jar of old pocket change tonight, and pulling out a single penny that could quietly change your financial future. Not a gold coin. Not a silver dollar. Just one simple cent. The kind most people overlook. The kind that gets tossed into tip jars and forgotten in couch cushions. But what if I told you that a 1995 Lincoln 1 cent with no mint mark could be worth far more than 1 cent, and that certain error examples have brought in astonishing sums on the current market? Stay with me, because this is not just about a coin. This is about awareness. Opportunity. And the possibility that the next valuable discovery could already be sitting in your home. The 1995 no mint mark Lincoln cent was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and coins from Philadelphia traditionally carry no mint mark. So at first glance, there is nothing unusual. It looks ordinary. It feels ordinary. But here is where things become interesting. In 1995, a well-known error occurred on some Lincoln cents, the famous double die obverse. On these coins, the inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust show clear doubling. Not machine doubling. Not damage. True double die characteristics created during the die-making process. That small detail can transform a 1-cent coin into something collectors aggressively compete for. Now let me ask you something. How many pennies have passed through your hands in the last year? Hundreds? Thousands? And how many did you actually examine closely? Probably none. That is how opportunity hides. It hides in plain sight. The obverse of this coin features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design that has been a staple of American coinage since 1909. The reverse of the 1995 penny still carried the Lincoln Memorial design, a tribute to Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. This familiar imagery makes the coin easy to ignore. But seasoned collectors know that within familiar designs, rare varieties can emerge. In today's market, the standard 1995 no mint mark penny in circulated condition is common. But high-grade examples, especially those with dramatic double die errors, can command impressive premiums. In pristine mint state grades certified by leading grading companies, some examples have sold for thousands of dollars. And the maximum recorded prices for top-tier specimens with strong eye appeal and sharp doubling have reached into the upper thousands in competitive auctions. The current market maximum depends on grade, certification, and demand, but when condition and error combine perfectly, the dollar amount can surprise even experienced collectors. Here is the fear factor most people never consider. Valuable coins are being spent every single day. They are being handed over for coffee. Dropped into vending machines. Rolled into bank wrappers. If you do not know what to look for, you could unknowingly give away a small fortune. That is not drama. That is reality. So how do you identify the valuable 1995 no mint mark error penny? You examine the lettering carefully. Look at Liberty. Look at the date. Look at In God We Trust. Strong separation in the letters, visible doubling that appears rounded and distinct, not flat and shelf-like. A magnifying glass or loupe is essential. Lighting matters. Patience matters, and here is a quick pattern interrupt for you. If you have ever said, "It's just a penny," I want you to smile right now, because that sentence has probably cost Americans thousands of dollars over the years. Now let's move into the deeper question that so many of you ask. How to sell old rare coins. How to sell old and rare coins in the USA and actually get real value at auction shops. How to make money from coins instead of letting them sit in drawers. Act 2 of our story is about strategy. First, knowledge protects you. Before selling any 1995 error penny, you must confirm authenticity. Professional grading services such as Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company authenticate and assign condition grades. Certification builds trust. And trust drives higher auction prices. Second, presentation matters. A certified mint state example in a sealed holder immediately commands more attention than a raw coin. Serious buyers want assurance. When your coin is authenticated and graded, it becomes a competitive asset rather than a risky gamble. Third, choose the right marketplace. Major auction platforms and reputable coin auction houses attract national and international bidders. That competitive environment pushes prices upward. Coin shops can be useful for quick liquidity, but high-demand error coins often achieve stronger results when exposed to a broader audience. Now think about this. What if the penny sitting in your change jar grades MS-67 with strong doubling? What if collectors who specialize in double dies begin competing for it? Suddenly, what started as pocket change becomes a four-figure or even higher asset, from pocket change to serious money. That transformation is real. Excitement is powerful, but urgency is even more powerful. The coin market moves in cycles. Demand for error coins rises as awareness grows. Online communities spread information rapidly. The more collectors learn about the 1995 double die, the more competitive the market becomes. Waiting without action could mean missing peak demand, but let's connect this back to you. You are between 30 and 65. You have worked hard. You understand the value of opportunity. You are looking for ways to create financial breathing room, perhaps even wealth. Coins are not just metal. They are historical assets with limited supply and growing collector demand. How to make money from coins. You start by searching. You continue by learning. You protect yourself with grading. And you sell strategically when the timing is right. Let me ask you another question. Have you checked your inherited coin collections recently? Have you searched bank rolls? Have you examined your children's piggy banks? Opportunity does not always arrive with fireworks. Sometimes it hides behind ordinary copper plating. The 1995 no mint mark Lincoln cent error is a reminder that rarity is not always about age. It is about variation. It is about production anomalies. It is about small details that separate common from exceptional, and here is the powerful connection that ties everything together. The same discipline required to spot a double die is the discipline required to build wealth. Attention. Patience. Education. Action. That if you discover a strong example, do not rush blindly. Research recent auction sales. Compare grades. Consult reputable dealers. Ask questions. How to sell old rare coins safely. By verifying buyers. By using insured shipping. By documenting your coin's certification number. Professionalism attracts professional money. Picture this moment. You send your coin for grading. Weeks later, you receive confirmation, authentic double die, high mint state grade. You list it in a respected auction. Bidders compete. The price climbs. What started as a forgotten penny becomes a meaningful financial win. Is every 1995 penny valuable? No. But are valuable ones still circulating and sitting unnoticed in homes across America? Absolutely, this is your call to action. Tonight, examine your change. This week, research grading services. This month, organize your collection. Do not underestimate small beginnings. The difference between someone who profits and someone who misses out is not luck. It is awareness followed by action. What if that small copper coin dated 1995 with a tiny D mint mark is not just spare change, but a hidden opportunity waiting to be recognized? Stay with me, because what you are about to hear could change the way you look at every cent you touch. That we are talking about the 1995 D mint mark Lincoln cent struck at the legendary Denver Mint. At first glance, it looks ordinary. The familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. A coin produced in the billions. A coin most Americans have handled without a second thought. But here is the twist. Not all 1995 D pennies are created equal. And some of them carry errors that transform them from common currency into highly demanded collector treasures. Now let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly examined your pocket change? Not glanced at it. Not tossed it into a jar. Actually examined it. Because in the world of rare coins, small differences create massive value. A tiny doubling in the letters. A slight misalignment. A dramatic off-center strike. A die crack that looks like a lightning bolt across Lincoln's face. These are not flaws to a trained eye. They are opportunity. The first act of our story begins in the mid-1990s. America was thriving. The economy was expanding. The United States Mint was producing billions of coins to meet commercial demand. In 1995 alone, the Denver facility struck well over $1 billion Lincoln cents. Most were perfect business strikes meant for everyday transactions. But when you produce coins at that scale, mistakes happen. And when mistakes happen in metal, they become permanent. Imagine a production line running at high speed. Dies striking planchets with tremendous pressure. If a die is slightly misaligned or begins to wear, it can create doubling. If a planchet is not fed correctly, it can produce an off-center strike. If grease fills part of the die, it can leave missing letters or faded details. These are mint errors, and collectors pay serious money for dramatic examples. Here is where excitement builds. While the famous 1995 double die variety is widely known from Philadelphia issues, strong error examples from the 1995 D mint mark have also captured serious attention in the collector market. A sharply defined double die, especially visible in Liberty or In God We Trust, can command significant premiums. Off-center strikes of 10% to 50% with full dates visible are especially desirable. Broad strikes, clipped planchets, and dramatic die breaks all elevate value. You might be wondering, how much are we really talking about? In today's current market, common circulated 1995 D pennies are worth face value. But strong, certified error coins in high mint state grades can reach hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the severity and eye appeal of the error. The maximum recorded auction prices for exceptional 1995 D error examples have reached into the thousands of dollars when the coin is in near-perfect condition and authenticated by major grading services. The market rewards quality. It rewards rarity. And it rewards knowledge. Now pause for a second. Think about this. How many pennies have passed through your hands since 1995? Thousands. Tens of thousands. And how many did you truly inspect? This is where fear quietly enters the picture. Because every single day, rare error coins are spent unknowingly. They are dropped into vending machines. They are rolled up at banks. They are lost in couch cushions. What if one of them was yours? What if the opportunity was there, and it slipped away simply because no one told you what to look for? But here is the empowering truth. You can start today. You can train your eye. You can slow down and examine the details. Look closely at the date and mint mark. The 1995 D will have the small d beneath the date. Check for doubling in the inscriptions. Look at Lincoln's profile for unusual lines or distortions. Examine the rim for off-center strikes. Rotate the coin under light and watch how the details respond, and let me ask you directly, because I know this question is on your mind. How to sell old rare coins. How to sell old and rare coins in the USA and its value in auction shop. How to make money from coins. How to go from pocket change to millions. First, understand that knowledge builds leverage. Before selling, authentication is critical. Professional grading services establish credibility. A certified coin attracts serious buyers and strong bidding at auction. Major auction houses regularly feature rare Lincoln cents, and collectors across the country compete for standout error examples. Second, presentation matters. High-resolution photographs. Clear descriptions. Honest disclosure of condition. These elements increase trust and drive higher offers. Whether selling through a reputable auction house, a specialized coin dealer, or an established online marketplace, positioning your coin correctly can dramatically influence the final price. Third, timing matters. The rare coin market moves in cycles. When demand for modern era coins rises, prices strengthen. Right now, interest in mint errors and overlooked varieties remain strong among collectors seeking affordable entry points with high upside potential. Now let's reset your attention with a quick reality check. If pennies were truly worthless, why do professional collectors spend hours examining them under magnification? Why do auction rooms light up when a rare error appears on the screen? It is because within the ordinary lies the extraordinary. In the second act of our story, you become the central character. Not the mint. Not the auction house. You. The informed collector. The strategic seller. The person who sees value where others see copper. Picture this scenario. You sort through a jar of old coins inherited from a relative. You find a 1995 D penny with noticeable doubling on the lettering. You feel that spark of excitement. You research. You compare. You verify. You submit it for grading. Weeks later, it returns authenticated as a genuine error in high mint state condition. Suddenly, what was once 1 cent is now worth a substantial amount of dollars in the current market. That transformation is powerful. And it is possible, but let's connect this to something deeper. This is not only about a coin. It is about awareness. Opportunity. Discipline. The willingness to look closer when others rush past. That mindset extends beyond coins. It becomes a way of living, and now we enter the final act. Urgency, because the longer rare error coins circulate unnoticed, the fewer pristine examples remain. High-grade survivors become scarcer over time. Collectors compete harder. Prices strengthen. The market rewards those who act early. So ask yourself again. Do you know how to sell old rare coins effectively? Do you know where to sell them for maximum value? Are you prepared to turn overlooked pocket change into a meaningful financial asset? Are you ready to explore auction shops, professional dealers, and certified marketplaces that connect you to serious buyers? The pathway is clear. Examine. Authenticate. Strategize. Present. Sell with confidence. The 1995 D mint Mark Lincoln cent may look small. It may feel ordinary. But under the right conditions, with the right error, in the right grade, it becomes highly demanded. It becomes a conversation piece. It becomes a financial opportunity, and who knows? The next time you receive change at the grocery store, you might pause. You might look down at that humble penny. And instead of seeing 1 cent, you might see potential. What if the difference between ordinary and extraordinary was something so small most people never notice it? Today we are talking about the 2004 Lincoln 1-cent coin with no mint mark, and why certain rare error examples of this coin are creating serious excitement in the marketplace right now. For anyone between 30 and 65 who has ever wondered how to sell old rare coins, how to turn pocket change into real money, or how to finally cash in on hidden treasures sitting at home, this story is for you. Let's begin with something simple but powerful. In 2004, the United States Mint struck millions of Lincoln cents. These coins feature the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design originally created by Victor David Brenner back in 1909. By 2004, the reverse still displayed the Lincoln Memorial, a familiar image that many Americans grew up seeing every day. Most 2004 pennies are common. But here is where it gets interesting. A 2004 penny with no mint mark generally means it was struck in Philadelphia, because Philadelphia coins often carry no mint mark. And while millions were produced, certain error varieties within that year are what serious collectors are hunting right now. Act 1 of our story is about awareness. Imagine someone cleaning out their garage. They find an old coffee can filled with coins. They almost pour it into a coin-counting machine. But they pause. What if something rare is inside? That moment of hesitation can change everything. Within the 2004 no mint mark Lincoln cents, there are reported error coins that include dramatic off-center strikes, double dies, broad strikes, and even rare die cracks and cuts. Most people overlook them. Collectors do not. Now here is the emotional trigger. What if you already spent one? What if the penny you used for a parking meter last year was a valuable error coin? That thought alone should make you want to check every single 2004 penny you own. Because while the majority are worth face value, exceptional high-grade examples and strong visible errors can command significant premiums in today's market. And the current market value for the best-known, highest-grade error specimens can reach maximum dollar levels depending on condition, certification, and demand. Let's move deeper into Act 2, the discovery. Picture a magnifying glass in your hand. You examine the word liberty. You inspect the date 2004. You look closely at Lincoln's profile. Are there doubling effects? Does the design appear slightly shifted? Is the coin off-center with part of the design missing? These are not flaws that reduce value. In the world of mint errors, these are often the very reasons collectors pay strong money, and here is where excitement builds. Coin collecting is no longer just a hobby for retirees. It is a serious marketplace driven by auctions, online platforms, and certified grading services. A dramatic 2004 no mint mark error coin in high mint state condition, especially one graded by a top-tier grading service, can attract competitive bidding. Why? Because collectors crave rarity, eye appeal, and story. And error coins tell a story of something unusual happening inside the minting process. They are accidental works of art. Let me ask you something directly. Have you ever wondered how to sell old rare coins in the USA and actually get top dollar? Have you asked yourself how to sell coins without being taken advantage of? Or how to make money from coins instead of letting them sit idle? These questions are not just curiosity. They are opportunity knocking, but before you rush to sell, there is something critical. Authentication and grading. The difference between a 1-cent coin and a high-value collectible often lies in professional grading. Condition matters. A coin graded mint state 65 or higher, especially with a noticeable and dramatic error, can multiply in value compared to a circulated example. The market rewards preservation. So before selling, consider submitting promising coins to a reputable grading service. That plastic holder with a certified grade can be the key that unlocks maximum dollar offers. Now let's introduce urgency. The coin market moves in cycles. Demand for modern era coins has surged in recent years because collectors are fascinated by mistakes from recent decades. The 2004 era is modern enough to be relatable but old enough that pristine high-grade examples are becoming harder to find in circulation. As more people search, fewer top-condition pieces remain undiscovered. That is simple supply and demand. And when supply tightens while demand grows, prices respond. Here's a pattern interrupt for you. Be honest. How many of you have a jar of pennies somewhere in your house right now? Go ahead, picture it. It might be under a sink, on a shelf, or hidden in a closet. Now imagine that jar is not spare change. Imagine it is a treasure chest. Sounds dramatic? Maybe. But history has shown that overlooked coins can surprise even experienced collectors. Act 3 of our story is action and transformation. You have checked your coins. You believe you found a 2004 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent with a visible error. What next? How to sell old and rare coins in USA for strong auction value. First, educate yourself on recent auction results for similar graded error coins. Look at major auction houses. Study realized prices. Knowledge gives you negotiation power. Second, choose your selling platform wisely. Reputable auction houses often attract serious collectors willing to compete. Online marketplaces can also be profitable if you present your coin clearly with high-resolution images and accurate descriptions. Coin shops can provide quick liquidity, but auction exposure can sometimes generate higher final prices for rare error pieces. And now let's connect everything back to the beginning. That simple penny. The coin most people ignore. The one dropped on sidewalks and left in tip jars. Within that everyday object lies the possibility of something more. Not every 2004 no-mint Mark penny is rare. But the rare error examples, those are in demand. Collectors actively seek coins that stand out from the ordinary. Ask yourself again. How to make money from coins you already own. How to turn pocket change into something meaningful. How to sell old rare coins without fear. The answer begins with awareness, continues with education, and ends with bold action. Fear keeps people from checking. Excitement pushes them to look. Urgency motivates them to act before the opportunity fades. The beauty of coin collecting is that it blends history, art, economics, and timing. A 2004 Lincoln cent may seem modern, but every year that passes adds perspective. As collectors look back, standout errors become more appreciated. And appreciation often leads to stronger bids and higher final sale prices. So tonight, instead of scrolling endlessly, why not open that drawer? Why not separate your pennies by date? Why not inspect every 2004 coin with no mint mark carefully? Because somewhere in America, someone is discovering a coin that others overlooked. And that discovery could be you. We're uncovering the hidden potential of the 2006 D-Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, a modern coin that has surprised collectors across the United States with error varieties commanding astonishing premiums in today's market. And if you're between 30 and 65, sitting on years of accumulated pocket change, inherited jars, or forgotten coin rolls, this message is for you. Because what looks ordinary can sometimes be extraordinary. The 2006 D Lincoln cent was struck at the historic United States Mint facility in Denver. At first glance, it appears to be just another modern penny featuring President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design that defined cents for decades. Millions were produced. Billions of pennies flood circulation every year. So how could a 2006 D penny possibly be worth serious money? Here's where the story begins. Act 1 is awareness. Most people assume that only old coins, like early 1900s wheat pennies, have value. But the truth is more thrilling and more urgent. Modern coins, especially those with mint errors, can explode in value because they are rare mistakes in a system designed for perfection. And the more advanced the technology becomes, the more shocking it is when something slips through. The 2006 D Lincoln cent has been discovered with striking errors that transform it from common change into a collector's prize. We're talking about dramatic off-center strikes where the design is partially missing but the date remains visible. We're talking about double die errors where the lettering and date show clear duplication. We're talking about die cracks, cuds, and even misaligned dies that create bold visual distortions. These are not tiny, invisible imperfections. These are eye-catching anomalies that make collectors lean in and say, now that is something special. Imagine opening a roll of pennies and spotting a 2006 D where the word Liberty looks doubled. Or where the rim is thick on one side and thin on the other. Or where part of Lincoln's profile is missing because the coin was struck off-center. That's not damage. That's potential, and here's the exciting part. In today's competitive coin market, high-grade 2006 error pennies have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars depending on the severity and clarity of the error. The maximum dollar amounts are achieved when three powerful factors align: a dramatic mint error, pristine uncirculated condition, and strong demand at auction. Now let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly examined your pocket change? Not glanced at it. Examined it. What if you've been carrying opportunity without realizing it? Act 2 is discovery and tension. That you're sitting at your kitchen table. Maybe you've just emptied a jar of coins that's been collecting dust for years. You start flipping through the pennies. 2001, 1998. 2010, then you see it. 2006, there's the small d under the date. Denver Mint. You tilt it under the light. Something looks different. The lettering seems slightly doubled. Your heart beats a little faster. Is it real? Could this be one of those error coins people talk about? Is this how people go from pocket change to serious money? This is the moment where fear and excitement collide. Fear of overlooking value. Fear of selling too cheaply. But also excitement. The possibility that this simple coin could be worth far more than face value. In recent years, collectors have aggressively pursued modern mint errors because they combine accessibility with rarity. Everyone can find a 2006 penny. But not everyone can find a dramatic error in mint state condition. That's the difference. That's the edge. And let's talk about current market value. While a standard circulated 2006 penny remains worth 1 cent, certified high-grade examples with strong, authenticated mint errors have reached maximum dollar levels in the thousands when auction competition intensifies. The market decides value. And when two determined bidders want the same rare error, prices climb quickly. So how do you position yourself to benefit? How do you sell old rare coins? How do you start selling coins in the United States the right way? How do you make money from coins instead of losing money by rushing? First, knowledge is power. Before selling, you must confirm authenticity. Professional grading services evaluate condition and verify errors. A certified coin instantly builds buyer confidence. Would you pay thousands for a coin without authentication? Most serious collectors wouldn't. Certification transforms uncertainty into credibility. Second, presentation matters. High-resolution images. Clear close-ups of the error. Proper lighting. When listing in an auction shop or online marketplace, visual clarity can dramatically impact final price. Remember, collectors are buying what they see. Third, timing and platform are crucial. Major coin auction houses, reputable coin dealers, and specialized online auctions can expose your coin to competitive bidding. The right venue can mean the difference between a few $100s and a few thousand. Let me pause here with a quick question to reset your thinking. If you had a lottery ticket worth thousands and didn't know it, would you leave it in your junk drawer? Of course not. So why ignore your coins? Act 3 is transformation. The real story isn't just about a 2006 penny. It's about mindset. It's about seeing opportunity where others see ordinary. It's about taking action instead of assuming nothing valuable could possibly be hiding in your home, from pocket changes to millions. It sounds dramatic, but history proves it's possible. Rare coins have funded retirements, paid off mortgages, and launched new chapters of financial freedom. The key is awareness, education, and decisive action. If you're serious about selling old and rare coins in the USA, start by organizing your collection. Separate by date and mint mark. Look closely at 2006 pennies for visible errors. Protect potential high-value pieces in coin holders. Seek professional grading if you identify something unusual, and ask yourself powerful questions. How to sell old rare coins wisely. How to avoid underselling. How to recognize true market demand. How to turn a simple hobby into a strategic wealth-building move. The coin market rewards those who pay attention. Demand for authenticated mint errors remains strong because collectors crave uniqueness. A flawless modern coin is common. A dramatic error is not. imagine listing your certified 2006 D-era penny in a respected auction shop. Bidding opens. One collector places a bid. Then another. The price climbs. You watch as numbers rise far beyond 1 cent. That moment isn't luck. It's preparation meeting opportunity, and here's the connection that ties everything together. The penny itself is small. The mistake is small. But the impact can be large. Just like small daily decisions compound into significant financial outcomes, small coins can compound into meaningful wealth when recognized and leveraged correctly. So tonight, instead of scrolling endlessly or dismissing spare change, open that jar. Examine those pennies. Look for the 2006 D mint mark. Study the details. Because opportunity rarely announces itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers in copper. We're uncovering a modern coin that most Americans have handled without ever realizing its hidden potential, the 2013 no-mint mark Lincoln 1 cent from the United States Mint. This is not some dusty antique from the 1800s. This is recent. This is circulating. And for sharp-eyed collectors and sellers, this coin has become a quiet opportunity hiding in plain sight. Now pause for a second. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny before spending it? Be honest. Most of us don't. We rush. We swipe cards. We drop coins in cups. And yet history shows us again and again that overlooked coins become tomorrow's auction headlines. That's where excitement meets urgency. Because the difference between someone who casually spends a coin and someone who studies it can literally be thousands of dollars. The 2013 Lincoln cent without a mint mark was struck in Philadelphia. Coins from Philadelphia traditionally carry no mint mark, and millions were produced. On the surface, that sounds ordinary. But here's where the story changes. Within large production runs, errors happen. Subtle, rare, and highly collectible mistakes. Off-center strikes. Double dies. Die cracks. BIE errors. Clipped planchets. And when these errors appear on a modern coin in strong condition, collectors pay attention. Why? Because rarity is not just about age. It's about survival and demand. And right now, demand for high-grade modern-era coins is rising steadily among collectors across the United States. Think about it. A coin that's only a decade old, found in circulation, but preserved in pristine condition with a dramatic mint error, that's a story buyers love. Imagine you're sorting through pocket change at your kitchen table. Coffee on the side. Bills stacked nearby. You spot a 2013 penny. You almost ignore it. But then you notice something unusual. The lettering looks doubled. Or maybe part of the design is missing. Or the coin is slightly off-center. Your heart beats a little faster. Could this be one of those coins people talk about? Could this be the one? And here's the powerful truth, it happens more often than you think. Not every coin is valuable. But every valuable coin starts with someone noticing something others missed. Now let's step deeper. The 2013 Lincoln cent features President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design that has defined American coinage for generations. On the reverse, it displays the Union Shield design introduced in 2010. That shield represents unity and strength, an ironic symbol, because for collectors, strength lies in condition and uniqueness. High-grade examples graded mint state 67 or higher by professional grading services can command strong premiums. Error varieties in similar grades can multiply that value dramatically. The current market maximum for exceptional 2013 no-mint mark error pennies can reach into the thousands of dollars depending on the type and condition of the error. That's not hype. That's how the collector market works. Condition plus rarity equals demand. Demand equals serious money. Let me ask you something important. How many coins have you already spent that you never examined? How many opportunities have slipped quietly through your fingers? That question isn't meant to create regret. It's meant to spark action, because here's the shift. From pocket change to possibility. From overlooked to overvalued. From casual spending to strategic selling, you might be wondering right now, how do I sell old rare coins? How do I start selling coins the right way? How do I make money from coins without being taken advantage of? How do I turn pocket change into serious dollars? How do I sell old and rare coins in the USA and understand their value in an auction shop? These are powerful questions. And successful sellers ask them early. First, knowledge builds confidence. Learn to identify errors correctly. Compare your coin carefully under magnification. Look for doubling in the lettering. Inspect the edges. Examine the date. Study the surface for unusual strike characteristics. A small detail can mean a large difference in value. Second, condition matters enormously. Coins with minimal wear, strong luster, and sharp detail command premium prices. If you believe your 2013 penny shows a genuine error and remains in high condition, professional grading can dramatically increase buyer trust. Certification transforms uncertainty into credibility. Now here's a quick pattern interrupt for you. If pennies were truly worthless, why would collectors spend thousands chasing the right one? Exactly. Value is not in the metal. It's in the story, the rarity, and the demand. When it comes to selling, timing and platform matter. Reputable coin dealers, major auction houses, and established online marketplaces all serve different purposes. Auctions often create competitive bidding environments, especially when an error coin attracts multiple serious collectors. Competition drives price. And strong presentation, clear photos, certification, and documented error details, creates excitement among buyers. But let's connect this to something bigger. You're not just selling a coin. You're participating in a marketplace driven by scarcity and psychology. Collectors fear missing out on rare pieces. They feel excitement when an overlooked variety appears. They act with urgency when supply is low. Understanding that emotional engine allows you to position your coin strategically. Imagine listing a certified 2013 no mint mark double die error in high mint state condition. Bidders begin watching. Comments increase. Offers climb. The energy builds. This is where preparation meets opportunity, and here's something important for those of you between 30 and 65 watching this right now. Many of you grew up handling cash daily. You've accumulated jars, boxes, drawers of coins. That isn't clutter. That's inventory. The difference between clutter and capital is awareness. How many coins do you currently have stored away? Have you searched them carefully? Have you considered that one sharp example could fund a vacation, pay down debt, or seed an investment? From pocket changes to millions may sound dramatic, but every major coin discovery began with a single decision to look closer. The market for modern era coins continues to evolve. As more people learn about them, the best examples disappear into private collections. That creates tightening supply. And tightening supply increases competition. Which leads to higher maximum realized prices for premium pieces. So what should you do today? Start examining your coins with intention. Separate 2013 pennies. Inspect them carefully. Research known error types. If something stands out, consult a reputable expert. Protect the coin properly. Do not clean it. Cleaning destroys value instantly. Preserve originality. Ask yourself again, how do I sell old rare coins successfully? The answer is preparation, patience, and positioning. How do I make money from coins? By understanding grading, demand, and presentation. How do I sell old and rare coins in the USA for strong auction value? By leveraging trusted platforms and allowing competitive bidding to work in your favor. This is not about gambling. It's about informed opportunity, and here's the final connection. The 2013 no mint Mark Lincoln cent represents something bigger than a single coin. It represents awareness in a distracted world. It represents the discipline to look twice when others look once. It represents the courage to act when opportunity appears ordinary. Right now, somewhere in America, a 2013 penny with a valuable error is sitting unnoticed. Maybe in a drawer. Maybe in a cash register. Maybe in your own home. The question is simple. Will you ignore it, or will you investigate it? Because the next time you hear coins clink in your pocket, you might not just hear spare change. You might hear possibility. You might hear urgency. You might hear opportunity knocking softly in copper tones.